This is the rhythm of change. This is the sound of redemption. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. Igniting the fire within you. Exalting the melody of freedom. These are the things that will bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Down, down, down.
Let me tell you, it's in the air. Joy is in the air. Love is in the air. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Don't sleep on it, brother. You might get left, sister. Can you feel it? What it feel like? Freedom. What it feel like? Justice. No need to be counted, cause I am down. Down, down, down. Down, down, down. Down for the end of racism, for the end of bigotry, cause I am down. For the end of misogyny, that's right. For all the isms out there, just down, down, down. Let's bring it down. Rise up, people. No more foolishness, and let's bring it way down.
Riding the river of change into the cries of contrition. This is the way that we bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. We are the children of Eden, dancing and celebrating freedom. We are the ones that must bring it down. Down, down, 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 down. So gather the faithful. Tell everyone to stand and shout loud. Shout loud. Shout loud. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it down, down. Let's bring it down. Let's bring it way down. Let's bring it down. We've got to bring it down. Down. Stand up and shout. Stand up and shout. Rise together.
Accountability starts now. The Eric Dawson Radio Show.
Yeah. Rise up. Stand up, shouting loud.
If you are not prepared to come to that table and to represent that voice, don't come. Because we don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice. And if you're worried about being marginalized and stereotyped, please don't even show up.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Oh, you know what? I almost forgot. It's Deirdre Viney Day.
Deirdre Viney Day.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll be getting a call from Deirdre soon. It's cold outside. So should we? I should have had that song playing, right? Baby, it's cold outside. It is cold outside, and I opted for. I told you this morning instead of coffee. I had coffee earlier, but instead of another cup of coffee, I've gone with the green tea with pomegranate and honey. Right. So that's what I'm doing today for the show. But I am like chilled to the bone, man. I had to run out earlier, and it's just cold outside. It's one of those cold days that if you're out there too long, it literally just cuts right through, and it takes forever to warm up. So please, guys, if you got to be out there exposed to the elements, stay safe. Stay warm. Tomorrow we're supposed to get snow.
Yeah.
They're saying 17 inches by me. Remember, was it last year where we got like a quarter of an inch of snow and everything got shut down? Was that last year?
Yeah, well, we got a quarter inch of snow, but everything was already shut down. Well, no, it wasn't shut down.
No, remember? Like, was that last year or year before last?
Yeah, last year.
Right? And Governor Murphy caught hell for that, right? So, you got 17 inches coming, Governor. And the mayors of these local towns, go ahead and handle it. And then for the people, I guess there's going to be a rush on water and provisions at all of the stores, right? Because that's what normally happens.
Toilet paper, bread.
You know what? If I could flip the camera around, I got my stockpile of toilet paper, and I made 2 loaves of bread last night. So I'm telling you, don't go buy bread. Just get flour and yeast, and then you make your own bread. But I made 2 beautiful loaves of bread. Beautiful loaves of bread. One we're going to consume as is. The other one I'm going to let get a little stale, and I'm going to make bread pudding. Yes, bread pudding. Do you like bread
put
pudding?
Raisins in your bread? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I prefer raisins. I like the texture, right? I like the, bread. I mean, bread pudding is good by itself, but the raisins to me add something to it. I know a lot of people don't like it. I take my raisins though, and I soak them in rum.
Wow.
See that?
So, Eric, most of your dishes require a breath analysis before you go home.
No, what dishes? Not mine. Not mine. No. But I do soak and I'll do either a bourbon sauce to drizzle over the bread pudding, but I burn off the alcohol, right? It's just the flavor I'm interested in. Or I'll do a vanilla cream sauce. Now for this, for this particular bread pudding that I'm gonna do, it's gonna have the raisins are gonna soak for 2 days in rum, right? And yes, see, right, Vincent? See, you could already imagine it, right? And then it's gonna be drizzled with the vanilla cream sauce. That is gonna be delightful.
Trying to get my wife to make that black cake, the African cake that's like steeped in alcohol.
Yeah.
But neither of us drink, so it's like we gotta go get the alcohol.
And then what's a man to do with the leftover alcohol, right? Because you don't use it all in the cake.
I know. See, we usually save it because we before COVID, pre-COVID.
Right, you would entertain. Exactly.
Yeah, now we just got bottles all stored up in the backyard.
Yeah. And if I could drink, I'd be there.
There are some relatives relatives who know that, and we try to make sure they don't come around anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because they're there for the free booze. But yeah, you got me now. I'm gonna talk with my wife a little more about that bread pudding, and I'm gonna go get some. Can that, instead of rum, can I soak it in cognac?
Oh, the raisins?
Yeah.
Oh, you can soak the raisins in whatever you want. You know.
We got like a whole, just
Yeah.
about half a gallon. So what does that make it, like a little quart or something like that?
I don't know, but you could look, soak them in whatever you want, man. I mean, I'm sure it'll be good. I used to make
But this cognac hasn't been touched in 7 years.
I used to make a homemade eggnog. I don't even know if I still have the recipe. I mean, this is when I was still writing recipes down on paper, and I had a folder of recipes. Man, I had a killer eggnog recipe. I mean, it was killer, and I would make it twice a year. I would make it. My family would do this New Year's Eve kind of thing, right? A New Year's Day celebration, and we would have maybe 80, 90 people come to the house, man, and I would make a big vat of it for that, and I would make a big vat of it for my sister when we would have Thanksgiving at her house, because the whole family would gather there too, and so people would look forward to it twice a year, and it had a ton of cognac in it, Vincent, and then I would finish it off with scoops of vanilla bean ice cream. See that, and then put that ladle in there and just kind of stir it around a little bit. The vanilla bean ice cream would melt a little bit and make it somewhat frothy, and people would get twisted just drinking that stuff. But those are days long gone. Because I don't drink, so nobody else can drink. So I don't make it. No, that's not why I don't make it. I don't know why I don't make it anymore. Well, I can't find a recipe, but it was a good one. Anyway,
Quick topic before Deidre gets there.
Yeah.
The Electoral College has spoken. Some Republicans have acknowledged in a offbeat congratulations. They didn't congratulate Biden, but they're stating that the Electoral College has spoken. Let's move on with our democracy. That type of thing. They're not saying congratulations on your win.
Right.
And Mitch McConnell has just said officially that Biden is the president. We have a president-elect, Joe Biden. Electing Joe Biden.
Right. So,
so that peaceful transference of power now resists on Donald Trump.
Well, okay. So let us stop. There will be a peaceful transference of power, right? So when you say peaceful, right, what we mean is there will not be violence, right? Like Donald Trump is not organizing a part of the military to resist, right? He's not going to barricade himself in the White House and, have, bazookas pointed at, at Biden. Like that he's not going to have, tanks lined up on Pennsylvania Avenue barricading him in. That none of that is going to happen, right? So is he going to continue to throw a tantrum? Yes, but I don't think him throwing a tantrum classifies as being contrary to a peaceful transference of power. It just means that he's throwing a tantrum.
Here is what we're potentially could be facing. Now,
are you going to say the sky is falling, Vincent?
No, I'm not saying the sky is falling.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that it's cloudy and you might want to get an umbrella.
Okay,
now,
go ahead.
Yeah, what we have is Donald Trump, who has the ability to stir up a mob. And we've seen this weekend Proud Boys.
Vincent, don't do that. Don't do that. See, this is what they were talking about on election day, right? They were gearing everybody up for the burning down of towns across the country, and as a result, you have businesses boarding up and in preparation for all of this, and none of it happened. None of it, and we have to stop.
But this weekend happened.
Right. So these Proud Boys have a right to go and protest. They have a right.
Right, but you know.
Wait a minute. But they look.
No, they have the right of peaceful assembly and protest.
Was it not peaceful?
I agree with that.
Wait a minute. Was it not peaceful?
Oh no, it was not peaceful.
What happened?
Well, let's see. The Proud Boys show up in their automatic weapons and start marching, and people started to rally against them.
No.
Yeah.
But I'm saying peaceful. So what happened? So they had were they legally entitled to have their weapons?
You have the right to bear
Okay,
arms.
so let's dispense with the hyperbole, right? So they had a right to bear arms. So they were following their constitutional right to gather and to carry weapons. So what else did they do? What did they do that was wrong?
So let's look at real quick. They have the constitutional right to gather. They have a constitutional right to bear arms. But do you have a constitutional right to gather and bear arms to intimidate the result of a certain action or act? Do you have the right to scare people into seeing things your way? Do you have the right to coerce someone in their position?
So they're so wait a minute.
The Electoral College, Eric.
Wait a minute.
That's
okay.
Secrecy, hire extra security.
That's okay. But was anybody harmed?
A few people. There were 30 arrests.
No. We said that there were arrests. Who was harmed, and what were the injuries?
Nothing major.
Okay.
No major
This is what I'm saying. So let us not. Let's, like I said, dispense with the hyperbole, right? You had a group of people who are unhappy, who are throwing tantrums, right? Who have a right to carry their weapons, right? Constitutionally. They did so. And when some of them stepped out of line, law enforcement stepped in and arrested them. Right? That's what happened. So if we say it like that, as opposed to the Proud Boys showed up and were see, different, right? And so if we just say what happened and then we move on, as opposed to trying to drive a narrative to create this frenzy, let's end that. Let's end it. I mean, the media did enough of that for 4 years.
They drag his orange behind out of the White House.
They're not gonna. So they're not gonna drag. So listen. So they're not gonna drag him out of the White House. That's not gonna happen either. He's going to leave the White House. There will be a peaceful transference of power. I believe that Donald Trump will even show up at the inauguration. Right? I believe all of that's gonna happen.
With a suitcase filled with that $200 million in donations.
I don't think he's gonna have a suitcase of $200 million with him. I think he's going to have Melania Trump next to him. They're going to watch Joe Biden get sworn in, and that's going to be the end of that. All of that's going to happen. And now when that all happens and the sky doesn't fall or the rain doesn't come down as you say, none of the people who are pushing all of these narratives come back ever and say, hey, you know what? I stirred you up because it suited my own interest. But anyway, we're gonna hold the Vincent. We're gonna hold no. But because Deidre Viney is here.
Yeah.
So there will be no more talk of rain.
Talk about bread pudding. I got excited.
Wait a minute. So Deidre.
I get myself stationary. I would like to be the taste tester because you don't know this, Eric, but bread pudding is my absolute favorite.
All right, listen, Deidre, I know where you live.
I have yet to even try try to make it. I don't know why I'm intimidated by it.
You're
We
on.
need to do a cooking show. I mean,
Well, we can't do a. We could do a. We could do a virtual cooking show. Like we could do a Zoom, right? We'd be in different locations cooking. But Deidre, I know where you live. You're on my list now. That I know you like it. But see, here's the trick. So I made the bread last night, right? I took it out of the oven somewhere around 9 o'clock last night. So it is wrapped up. And one loaf we're gonna slice up and we're gonna eat. The other one I'm gonna let get a little bit stale. You have to let the bread get a little stale. That is the key.
See, my wife bought those little gourmet hard bread things. You know, they're almost like that bread crumbs. They're that bread that you put in stuffing.
Almost like what do they call them?
Dressing. Hold on, let me see. What the heck is that called?
They begin with a C, whatever the word is, right?
Croutons.
Croutons. There we go.
Yeah, almost like croutons. Yeah. Yeah. They're called mini toasts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they look like, mini toasts. Now, maybe I should try those with the bread pudding.
So,
Super
no.
hard though, aren't they?
Yeah, see, Vincent's trying to get bougie with, like, you know what I mean? Just get some bread, Vincent. Just get some.
I will not apologize for exemplifying excellence.
Listen, man, just get some bread, right? Let it sit out.
Wonder bread, you know how long it takes for Wonder Bread to get hard?
Well, see so there lies the issue, right? Because you have all those preservatives in there keeping it appearing fresh. But if you can go to a bakery and you can get a loaf of bread at a reasonable price that only has, flour, yeast, salt, and water, right? And that bread in 2 days, 3 days time is gonna be stale, right? Then you just cut it up into squares, right? And then you prepare your all of your ingredients. I mean, I use I make mine vegan, so I use I don't use whole milk. I use either almond milk or I use an oatmeal milk, right? And then, but you do whatever else you do. Your sugars, your brown sugar, your nutmeg, your vanilla, right? Your cinnamon. You do all of that stuff. Like I said, I'm gonna soak my my raisins in rum, and so that's gonna add a nice little flavor to it. And then afterwards, I'm gonna have a nice vanilla cream sauce to drizzle over it, Deidre. So when I bring it to you, I'll bring you the vanilla cream sauce in a ramekin, right?
Oh my goodness, I'm getting my mouth is watering.
See that?
I know, right? Okay, the bread pudding bake-off will officially begin.
Yeah,
I
and
just want
then
to see the product of receiving it.
no.
Maybe it's the stale bread. Maybe that's where I get nervous about making it.
Yeah, well, because if you don't use stale bread, if you use fresh bread, then the bread pudding is mushy. Like it's too soupy. Like if you've ever had had somebody's bread pudding where the texture isn't firm, right? It's like slimy. It's because the bread was not firm enough, right? So when it's soaking up the liquid, the bread particles just kind of break apart and doesn't hold up. So you want it to be a little bit stale so that when the bread soaks up the liquid, that the bread still maintains some integrity. That's the key. That is the key.
Got it. All right. I'll just wait for you.
That's right.
Drop it on the steps, make it happen.
I got nervous about making bread, and I've done that, and I made a couple things. So I've gotten over my fear of things that are so easy that are not that hard to do.
Oh, yeah. Well, part of growth is challenging yourself to new experiences.
Exactly.
I was gonna record my bread. I was gonna record my bread making last night, and then I had gotten through what I thought was the critical process. And then so I said, next time I make it, I'll record it. Because I'm telling you, it is and I was gonna bring a loaf down to show everybody what the finished product looks like. Um, but it's absolutely gorgeous, and it has the house smelling amazing. And the prep time is literally less than 3 minutes. The prep time for it is less than 3 minutes. That's it. Anyway, so Deidre,
Yes, sir.
we're closing out on this year.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it seems like somebody stepped on the accelerator, right? Like time just is
I know.
flying, man.
It's funny you should say that because one of my topic today was 5 ways to search for a job around the holidays, and I feel like the holidays are like next week. It's like
Yeah,
it's crazy. I don't know how December 14th, 15th happened this quickly.
yeah.
It's really
I don't know about you guys, but at the rate of 2020, I'm glad it's accelerating.
That's true. I agree, but it did kind of speed up right around maybe a little bit before Thanksgiving. I blinked and it's December. So anyway, I just have a couple of job search tips for the holidays. I know sometimes people get, what should I do now? And it's the holidays and I need a job. I think this is still a good time to prep because not a lot happens in December, to be honest, unless a company is desperately needing someone. They typically wait through the new year to identify talent, to start people, interview, all that good stuff. So they might start seeing a reduction in the number of jobs that are listed unless they're super critical. However, they can be at least keeping their eyes out for things. So tip number one would be, as you are identifying the kind of job you're looking for, look at the job description really carefully and pay attention to some of the requirements. So, for example, if the job says, if you start to notice a couple of different jobs that you're interested in, and you notice one critical thing that they need, like say it's Photoshop or PowerPoint, and you don't have that particular skill. So now is the time during the month of December, even though it's almost over, the month of December, to find a way to brush up on that particular skill set, so that you'll be poised to present your resume, for that particular job, come the new year. So I think you want to just scour. I think people are so excited to post their resume to jobs and not really take a look at what's really fully required. And you want to, we talked a lot about, applicant tracking systems and how you get yourself kicked out of things and not even being seen and all those kind of things. So if you're paying close attention to it, that will help you to make sure your resume, which is tip number 2, your resume is up to snuff, and your skills, because you can put on your resume is one thing, but do you really have that skill? Because you want to get a job and keep a job and not go in and fudge away that you really had a skill you really don't. So you want to pay close attention to that. Tip number 2 is just, this is the time to kind of brush that resume up. Use a service, use a friend, use a coach that's going to be brutally honest with you and give you some tips. Because if you're still looking for work, maybe it might be some things on your resume you might need to evaluate and look at and see if you can clean that up. This will give you a chance to do that during this month when it's super quiet and the holidays are happening. So this is the time, but have someone that's trusting and not someone that's going to say, oh yeah, it looks good. You might need to change it up if it's been challenging for you to get work. Tip number 3 is to make a list of potential contacts and draft that email. So, for example, now in the holiday season, a lot of people may not be looking at their emails. They're out of the office. So that's why I say draft the email, because you can scroll through LinkedIn, look and see what individuals you might want to contact, make a nice list, and then draft that email so that you can send it out a few days after the holidays, because, as you know, a lot of people are out, and then when they come back from the holidays, they've got a ton of emails. So you want to send it out a couple of days after the emails, but you want to draft it so that you've done that time. You've taken this time when you're home.
Deidre?
Hello?
No, Deidre, your audio went out. Deidre? She can't hear me. But her audio,
Hear.
but her audio went out.
Deidre, your audio went out. Can you hear anybody?
Can you hear me?
And now I can
There
hear you.
you are.
Hear me?
Yeah, your audio had gone out though, but now I can hear you.
All right, sorry about that. I'm in my car. I'm en route, dropping off holiday gifts.
Oh, there you go.
Listen, you bringing that upside down pineapple cake to the area? Darn it, man.
So we talked about your social media presence. So now is the time to clean up those pictures. Make sure you have a good presence, some social media presence. Look at the organizations that you're looking for. If they have a social media presence, you want to make sure yours is up to snuff too. So now's the time to kind of look at it, make sure it's cleaned up, take that period of time and kind of go through some things. Maybe delete some pictures, maybe add some pictures. So you want to make it look as in the best light that you can. I know social media is always a touchy topic, and how to use privacy and that kind of thing. That's a whole segment on that. But you want to this is a good time December when it's nice and quiet to kind of clean that up. And then my last tip is this. When you are looking for a job, you want to have references, and believe it or not, people still call for references. So you want to make sure that your references know that other individuals are going to call them or email them. So this is a good time to reach out to them and say, hey, by the way, I'm still in the market for a job. I just want to make sure that this is the right number to reach you at. This is the correct email address to reach you at, so that when, employers are starting to call or email you, you will be able to give me a positive reference.
Mm-hmm.
Or you want to answer your phone.
Exactly, because that is a really frustrating thing from an employer standpoint when you're trying to give a job offer to an employee and their references aren't calling you back or emailing you.
Right.
You may be a bill collector. No, I ain't picking up that phone.
Yeah, and so you want to, I know sometimes people will have letters written from previous employers. I actually kind of like that too, but it's nothing like talking to an employer that worked directly with that person and getting the real information from them live versus a letter that's might be coined or phrased or whatever. You have it. So this is the time to reach out to them again, even if it's been a while, because sometimes people will put employers on there that have been 2-3 years and things in their life change. Phone numbers change, email addresses change. So you do the digging instead of giving that information to an employer and then finding out, Mary Smith doesn't even work at that company anymore, and that email you gave is old. Don't have them do the legwork. You do this legwork for them, so that now when January rolls around, you've got a fresh set of references to easily give to a potential employer.
Mm-hmm. So they could go, oh, you still ain't employed, huh? I knew you was trash.
Well, that's no. Now, if you're going to reach out to old employers, that's always a way to say, just to your point, it could have been a variety of reasons. People get let go for, layoff budgets, divisions,
downsizing.
Companies merge, and they cut a division. There's lots of reasons. And so, reaching out to old employers and references also, right? You could say, hey, I'm in the market. I'm still in the market for a job, since, I got laid off or let go or whatever the last place. Maybe you have something, or maybe you can, and maybe add that person to your network, or maybe ask them who you might be able to reach out to.
Yeah, and since you left on favorable terms where you're using them as references, they more than likely would reconsider hiring you for another position if you updated some skills.
Absolutely. You want to use references that are going to say good things about you. Yes.
Yes.
Always be networking. I love that.
Always network, yes. That's my 5 tips for what to do during these last 2 weeks.
So wait a minute. So Deidre, you're off handing out. You're going to drop off gifts. So in terms of this idea of networking, right? People can can strengthen their networks too by simply dropping off holiday cards or making phone calls to just kind of wish people well during these holidays, right? Sometimes not asking for something, right? But just being in the spirit of giving during this time of year puts you in the front of mind for people, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And make it more than just, to your point of happy holidays. Maybe check on them. It's always could be a two-way street, right? How are they handling this craziness that's going on? Just kind of a litmus. Yes, check.
Well, my networking, I guess, reinvigorating, it consists of dropping off some, mailing out some Eric Dawson Grandma Emma's in a jar.
Nice.
Yeah, well, thanks for that plug, Vincent. but 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 yeah, we have been we've done very well. We've had quite a few businesses and individuals who we pitched this idea to, which we thought was a nice way of doing things, right? Inexpensive, but our product is a comfort food during this time. We said, people could use a little comforting, and so to have a nice little personalized message on the label and send it out, and it was well received. So little things, right? It does. Nobody's asking you to break the bank, right? But but just letting folks know that you're thinking about them. Building a network, and we talked about this before, right? Is not about always being the person taking something, right? The person there to get something, but sometimes, giving something, being, a part of that that ecosystem, where there's this, give and take. People appreciate that, so.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, so to recap,
Like I make sure that I send notes to all of my lawyers every year. Like I send them gifts, I send them cards, I send them flowers, because I never know when I might need them. Oh
okay.
gosh.
So to recap, Deidre Viney's preparing yourself. Yes. Let's see. So preparation is always the key, and preparing yourself, because the majority of businesses will not start hiring or holding off hiring until the year 2021. So first, search your potential positions, research the skills, okay? And while you're doing that, your skill sets.
Right.
Now, use objective friends to critique. You don't want to use a yes man. You want someone who is actually going to give you some valid information and points to make you better. Draft your email and update your social media. Clean up all of those things, like you being drunk by the Christmas tree. Also, update your references. And updating your reference network to see how the company's doing. Is there potential position, or if they know of any corporations who could use someone with your skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
But most of all, if you're looking for a position, call Deidre Vining and say that you heard it on Eric Dawson's radio show.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate that plug.
Hey, Deidre, tell the great people where they can find you.
So you can find us on the web at expresspros.com/Jersey City. Our office is in Jersey City. We have positions in the Jersey City area that includes a lot of positions in Newark, Kearney, Bayonne, North Bergen, and then obviously Hoboken and Jersey City. You can also call our office, 201-333-8400. One of my team members will speak with you over the phone. We are conducting virtual interviews right now, so we will chat with you and get you an interview immediately. If you fit the skills that we're looking to place, we can get you working. We do have jobs. We're always hiring, as you know, and so a lot of our jobs have not stopped because of the holidays. We're busy, so we have lots of different positions open.
What positions are available?
So I'm looking for about 3 or 4 administrative assistants right now. This one particular one, I'm looking for someone that might have worked in a production facility and that has some kind of familiarity with QuickBooks and invoicing and that kind of thing. I'm looking for 2 or 3, I think it's 3, distribution centers. So if you have experience working in a distribution center or a trucking company, administrative assistant, I'd love to talk with you.
Logistics is hot right now, huh?
Yeah, they're hot. They're busy. They've been busy. Always looking for forklift drivers. Got a couple openings for that. Second shift seems to be the challenge that we're having filling. So if you're looking for a second shift forklift position, we would love to talk with you. We have some first shift ones too. The second shift seems to be the biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we have a couple skilled positions like maintenance mechanic or regular industrial mechanic. Love to talk to you about that.
And for the ex-offenders being released and looking for employment, what of those positions are ex-offender friendly?
So we do have ex-offender friendly positions right now, and we have quite a few openings. That too is second shift. Quite a few of our positions are offender friendly. Just talk to us. We'll chat with you about it, and try to get you working.
Excellent.
Great. You're brilliant as always.
I tried.
By the way,
check us out online and see. Like I said, the jobs that we have, some are temp, a lot are temp to hire, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a couple full-time opportunities. I just mentioned a few of them, but we have a couple full-time opportunities. I have that one work-from-home role that I told you guys about last week, the regulatory compliance position.
Right.
I'm still working heavily to find people for that.
by the way, thanks for coming on our show. What you got to say?
Yes, it was great.
Yeah. Deidre was really ready for her close-up.
Well, I told you, I said I had to put lip gloss on. I haven't put lip gloss on in a couple months. We're in a mask, you don't even think about it. You said, oh, you want me on Zoom? I said, oh, wait a minute. Let me put some lip gloss on.
No, but when I saw her, she reminded me of the episode that she did in talking about preparing for your Zoom or virtual interview. Mm-hmm. She hit all the points. Lighting, clothes, makeup. She was great. She could have did a movie at that point in time.
Yeah.
I tried. That's another good one. We should probably go back to that one in a couple of weeks.
Sure.
That's a good one. I've interviewed some interesting people virtually, and they too have been. Some have been very prepared, and some not so much.
So let me ask you this question before you go. When you encounter somebody who's not prepared, do you talk to them about that at all, or do you just kind of sock that away and keep it as your own reference point in terms of not hiring them or moving forward with them?
I don't. I typically don't, because we're an interview. We are conducting an interview. Now, if it was something small or something that I know that they can improve upon for a client, the mainly ones I'm interviewing for are internal roles. I have two. Oh, I don't need to talk about myself. I have two internal roles for Express.
You're so busy that you forgot that you need people.
Yeah. I'm looking for an account executive for my company to work. That's a representative that's going to go out and talk to businesses about what we do. Phone calls, face to face as best as you can. Believe it or not, people are still conducting business. Businesses are still open.
Sure.
And then I'm looking for a recruiting specialist. This is a kind of a junior level position where they would actually be doing a lot of the sourcing for us on Facebook and various different places, as well as doing a lot of phone interviews, just spending their time all day trying to find us good talent for our clients. So we do give tips. Back to your point, Eric, we do give tips on depending. If it's internal role, I typically don't. But external role, for us going to clients, if there is something that we know they can improve upon, we'll mention it to them.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you, Deidre, and look out for my note when I bake this bread pudding. I'll make sure I get
Sounds
it to you.
good. Talk to you guys next week.
Have a good.
And get ready for the cooking show, Deidre. I'm dying to find out how to make your cake.
I don't know about bread pudding, but give me something else.
Whatever you want to do. Hey, how are you with that black chocolate cake, or was it African cake?
I've never made that.
Oh man,
Are you talking about like Christmas cake?
I don't know if it's Christmas or not, but it's been really hitting social media. People making attempts of this. It's like soaked in alcohol and decadence in terms of its chocolate.
No. I think my specialty now, we've made, my daughter and I made, what did we make? We made the apple fritter loaf cake last week. That was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of my specialty, because it's almost like a breakfast bread.
Mm-hmm.
And we're making pizza now, making fresh dough and pizza.
Nice.
Okay, the flat. the gourmet style, right? Not the round pie.
We're trying. We're trying.
Okay.
It can't exactly get the whole like shape together. When I don't know how they do when they fly it up in the air. We haven't mastered that part yet.
Oh.
But nobody does that anymore. The real gourmet style is the flatbread style. With the fresh ingredients, the chunk mozzarella, the chunk herbs, tomato slices, as well as like the paste. I mean, it really sets off. It's great to actually do, and a heck of a lot easier
than the one flying in the air.
Yeah.
Hey, Deidre, do you like Star Tavern pizza?
Of course, I have had it. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, see that's old, that's old school. See Vincent's back with the bougie stuff. Pizza is pizza, man. I mean, you do have the gourmet stuff,
Again, I'm not apologizing for excellence.
well, no. So you can't say the Star Tavern's not excellence. Right?
Yes,
But they make a standard pizza, but they make it delicious. Yeah. All right. Well,
You're breaking up, Eric.
am I
I'll
breaking
talk
it?
to you guys later.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Have a great day.
Talk to you soon. Bye bye. I'm breaking up, Vincent. You can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're a
Can
little better.
Can you hear me now? Am I better?
You're still breaking up.
Are you
loose connection or loose wire?
Are you sure that's me? I'm looking at my tones. Everything looks good on my end.
Could be me, but Deidre wasn't breaking up on mine. But we'll get this done.
Yeah.
It'll probably straighten itself.
So I wanna go back to you were talking about the violence at the
I was talking about the transference of power.
No.
People may be geared up for violence.
No. You were talking about where the protesters showed up in Washington, and you said that there was violence. And then I asked you to give me the instances of violence, and you said they were carrying guns and that they were intimidating people and such, right? And so Jody Pittman put in a thread, some folks got stabbed up. And then Renee Brooks, who I haven't heard from in a while. Hey, Renee, said they tore down and burned the Black Lives Matter banners off of 2 black churches. Yeah. So what I'll say is that the individuals who did that ought to be held accountable for doing that. But see, we got to be real careful, right? Because just like when you have a Black Lives Matter protest or any other protest, and then you have outliers who go and they loot or they burn stuff down or they vandalize, right? We're quick to say, don't blame the whole event, blame those individuals, right? So you can't now say, well, I want to blame the entire event. I'm saying, yeah, let's assign the blame to the individuals who participated in that illegal behavior, right? The people who took part in the stabbings, or the people who took part in tearing down the banners from these black churches. Yes, they did that. But then there were some people who didn't do that, right? Who obeyed the law, who carried their weapons according to the Second Amendment. And so, just as I would defend an organization who put together a protest that was not built on doing these kinds of things, but you had people who showed up and took advantage of an opportunity, right? We have to be fair on both sides, and so I do.
Okay, but let's have at it. Look, when you go to an actual event where people have actually stated something and allowed to have these Black Lives banners and Black Lives Boulevard, yet you go there with a bunch of white people with semi-automatic weapons and knives, and you start tearing down Black
Well,
Lives
no. See, don't do that. But Vincent, don't do that. Don't say. But Vincent, don't say. And you start tearing down some people. So here's the question I want to ask you. See, because you do this, and it literally draws my ire. So the question that I would ask you is this: how many people attended this event, and then how many people participated in tearing down the sign?
Don't know.
Right. And so the way you phrase it is like the majority of the people who attended the event took part in this illicit behavior. And I'm saying that's not the truth.
It wasn't phrased that way.
Sure it was. Wait, no, listen to what you no. I'm gonna repeat. Vincent, I'm gonna repeat what you said verbatim. You said they come to an event with their guns out and they start tearing down signs. That's what you said. That's exactly what you said. And that's not what happened.
I didn't say guns blazing. I said, and if you're going to quote me, then,
Go ahead.
Then quote me.
Go ahead.
I said, when you go to an event and you start tearing, and you're there with your semi-automatic weapons, and you start tearing down signs.
Correct.
That exemplify and reinvigorates a movement.
So now, wait a minute. So let me ask you a question, Vincent. Are we sure that the people who tore down signs had guns, had semi-automatic weapons? That the ones who tore down the signs. Wait a minute.
Eric, we're not going to go into that right
No, right, because what I'm saying to you is this.
We're not going to go into that
But Vincent,
of asking me the question in which I don't have the
right,
answer.
and so why would you say, so again, the way that you phrase it, that it gives the impression that those who went there with semi-automatic weapons were tearing down signs, and we don't know that.
Okay, well, let's put it this way. There were some people there with semi-automatic weapons. There were some people there who tore down signs.
Correct.
There were some people there who had knives that stabbed people.
Correct.
But that wasn't everybody in their totality, because I'm going to quote Donald Trump. I'm sure they were very nice people on both sides.
So do you believe that any of the people who showed up with semi-automatic weapons are American citizens who were frustrated and just wanted to be heard?
No.
See, and there lies the issue.
I believe that when you show up with a weapon and you start agitating signs that are not yours and tearing down things.
But wait a minute. But again, we just said. But Vincent. I thought we just covered that. You don't know that a single person with a weapon touched a sign. You don't know that. So why are you continuing to say that?
I know that there were more than a single person that touched the sign.
But you don't.
Whether they have weapons or not is splitting hairs.
No, it's not splitting hairs, Vincent. Vincent.
Splitting hairs.
Vincent. So if
call it for what it is, Eric. Let's cut the bull crap. Okay?
No.
We're not going to sit up here and go into that little craziness of who had what and who did what, because we don't know that. I don't know it, and you don't
right.
know
Right. So then
this is what happened.
So then stop painting a narrative that may not be true.
But it may not be true. It's true. No, Eric. Okay, and you want to be picayune about this.
No, it's not about being picayune, Vincent.
Not everybody that tore down signs had a weapon, or let's say that not everybody that was there had an automatic weapon, or not everybody who was there got stabbed.
Right.
But there were people who had weapons. There were people who tore down signs.
Right.
There were people who got stabbed, and there were people doing the stabbing.
Right.
Which means that now look, I may not be able to tell you how to build a watch, but I can tell you what time it is.
So Vincent,
when you go there with automatic weapons, when you go there tearing down a sign and protesting against a movement, you are past the point of peaceful protest.
Wait a minute.
You are now into vandalism, and you are picking a
Wait a minute. So let me ask you a question, Vincent. When Black Panthers marched in and they had weapons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were they peaceful?
Yes, they were.
Wait a minute.
In fact, that was the brilliance of the Black
Wait a
Panther
minute.
movement.
Wait, Vincent. Follow what I'm. Vincent, follow. Vincent, no. Vincent, let's follow what I'm saying. Listen to me. So simply because you carry a weapon doesn't make it not peaceful. Can we agree to that? Okay, stop. Stop. Now, outside of that, right? There are people, and I'm not saying that there aren't, who show up at these events for various reasons. I am simply not going to say that every single one of them was hell bent on violence, was hell bent on, some were. But see, if we go down that, wait a minute, but if we go down that road, Vincent, it is the same narrative when you turn on Fox News, right? And you have a Black Lives Matter movement and somebody vandalizes a storefront, right? Then they say there was violence at the Black Lives Matter, and say, no, there was a person or there were some people who were bad actors who were there, right? I'm saying to you that to simply say that people who were within their right to carry a weapon, they were in their right to carry a weapon.
Okay, so what you're saying is that the Proud Boys went to Washington, D.C. to peacefully assemble and protest with their weapons. Now, there were some agitators that were not part of the Proud Boys carrying down Black Lives Matter.
Or they may have been, or they may have been,
in front of churches and buildings.
Or they may have also been Proud Boys who decided to go that extra step. They may have been.
Okay.
Right.
So then there is no argument. So why are we wasting another 15 minutes going down these groups of rabbit holes?
But then,
what we already
I do not like to paint.
Or is it that you're actually,
No.
Or is it that you're in support of the Proud Boys?
No, because
or is it that you're in, support of these people assembling with weapons, or are you in support of their ability to intimidate black people?
No, I'm in support of the truth. I'm in support of not painting people with a broad brush. I'm in support of people's constitutional rights, right? Those are the things that I'm in support of. And so when you
support those too.
Right, so when you first say that they carried weapons as though they did something illegal, that's not true, right? They were within their constitutional right to carry the weapons.
No, I did not say that was illegal. I said that they have weapons.
Right, no, I said the manner in which you said it was to imply that there was something wrong with it.
The manner in which I said it basically gave everybody the impression that people are in Washington, D.C. with illegal semi-automatic weapons. Cut that out. Now you're going to insult everybody's intelligence.
No, I'm just stating what you do. That's it. That you try to paint a narrative. That you tried to paint this narrative.
No. I painted the narrative. You got the
assumption that but then clear it up, Vincent, and say no. So then say that they were there legally with semi-automatic weapons to protest. Say that.
Eric. First and foremost,
and see, the reason I do this, and I'm going to tell you why I do this, and you think that I take you down these rabbit holes, but when I post stuff on my page, right, and I look at the level of ignorance, right, that exists, and ignorance, I mean just not knowing, right, for various reasons. People just don't know stuff, right? They're not intellectually curious enough to go and research it or whatever. And they headline surf, and we talked about that. It's important, right, to get to this. And I'll talk about it when we talk about this whole vaccine and how people are responding to the vaccine and how you can float out a narrative and people grab on to whatever piece of that helps support whatever it is that they want to talk about. And that's why I try to be very specific about what comes out of my mouth and be very specific about what's broadcasted on this show. And so when you give the implication that these people somehow, by going down there with weapons, that in and of itself was wrong or illegal, I have to push back on it.
No, see.
So let's be clear. What was wrong about what they did? What was wrong about what they did?
Okay, I didn't say that it was wrong.
I'm asking you, what was wrong about what they did?
This is what I find to be wrong with it.
Right.
Okay? Now, and let's do the complete disclaimer, because I'm really tired of these rabbit holes. Now, The views and opinions stated by Vincent Squire is Vincent Squire's opinion. Whether it be right or wrong, I am supporting my constitutional right to speak. Now, in saying that, I'm saying this. When you go down to a specific location that they have slated and has been there in peaceful protest, where people have made changes and decided to support the theory that Black lives do matter. So when you take a group of white people with semi-automatic weapons down to that particular area, you are pushing for intimidation and or a fight. Now, that is what I find to be wrong. Now, I don't find it to be wrong that they want to peacefully assemble and protest. I don't find it wrong that they are gun lovers and gun toters, and they have legal, and if they have legal weapons that they are within their rights. I support that as well. However, I do that, and this is just like saying when I carry a gun down to Eric Dawson's house and I throw a rock through his window, I'm picking for a fight.
Right, but throwing a rock through my window is illegal.
Okay, and so is pulling off a Black Lives Matter flag that's on my property.
Sure it is, but carrying a gun isn't.
No,
so,
I didn't say that carrying a gun was illegal.
Got it.
Again.
And so, like I said, for those who pull the signs, they need to be arrested, right, or whatever, right? They need to be dealt with, right? For those who took part in assaulting people or stabbing people, as Jody Pittman said, they need to be arrested and dealt with by the law, right? So I don't have a disagreement about that. I'm saying if I were down at an event and people showed up with semi-automatic weapons, that would be their right to show up with a semi-automatic weapon. If I'm down there and I'm doing what it is that I'm doing and I'm protesting peacefully about whatever it is that, you know, that I want to see changed here in America, then I'm doing that. Those people who showed up, as long as they were in their constitutional right to carry it, I have no gripe with them. They showed up. Right. So what I need to do. So understand.
You don't agree that some had the intentions of picking a fight by tearing down Black Lives
No. I did.
No.
So what I said to you is this: for those who tore down the 2 Black Lives Matter banners, they need to be.
We don't know if it was 2.
Well, I'm listing what Renee Brooks put in the thread. I was responding to what she said. She said they tore down and burned Black Lives Matter banners off of. So I don't know if it was 2. She said off of 2 black churches. I'm sorry, off of 2 black. So I don't know how many banners were on those 2 churches. So yes. So for those people who did that, yes. There needs to be, that needs to be addressed. I have no issue with that. I have no issue with that at all. And for the people who participated in the stabbing that Jody talks about, those people need to be dealt with. I have no issue with that either. None at all. None. But I'm saying for the other people who were there, who may have had their semi-automatic weapons, right, on full display, that's their constitutional right. That's what I'm saying. So I want to separate those people. Deal with the stabbers, deal with the people who assaulted, deal with the people who burned down personal property, deal with all those people. But I don't want to lump them all in one bucket, because there were some other people there who were in their constitution, whether I liked the fact that they were carrying their weapons or not. They had a right to carry them. And part of you, as an ex-military person, you fought to defend their right to do that.
Of course.
There you go. That's it. So, on to the, I posted on my page about the nurse in New York, in Queens, I believe she was, right, who took the vaccine yesterday. And what I posted was that, she took the vaccine, that they made her the poster person, right, in the media, and they took the picture intentionally of a black doctor administering the shot. I believe it was a doctor who administered the shot to the nurse, who was also black, and that went all over the place, right? It was the front page of the Times and everywhere else on all the news channels, and it was messaging because of the disturbing number of black people who have distrust for the government, for the medical industry, and in fact, for this vaccine. And so it was an attempt, one of many, to persuade black people to participate in taking this vaccine because it will be critical in slowing down this disease. Caller, go.
So, good morning, guys. How are you?
Good morning, Jody.
So first, Eric, I think that what is most alarming about what happened this weekend is not that people don't have a right to bear arms. I agree totally. But the method and the motive of the moment, right? So these weren't people who are fighting for injustice and trying to be heard. These weren't people who were fighting for some big event or something that happened detrimental to this country. These were people that were coming together with their armor, to say, we want this election overturned. That's dangerous no matter how you turn it, right? That's dangerous no matter whether they came with no guns, that a legal election in this country happened, someone lost, and that these people would follow this. I'm trying to get better with my language. My brother told me, you have such a good vocabulary, you don't have to cuss people out, okay? These idiots, right? These idiots were following something, and so they were willing to, that is what makes it dangerous, right? The fact that yesterday to do a process that we have in this country every 4 years that has never had this cantankerous kind of behavior happening, that people had to lock up state buildings, do some legitimate threats, right? They did catch these 14 Jews that were willing to kill a governor a few months ago. I think that's when we say they have no rights, or they should not have a right, right? The racist, the racism that they were trying to show, I feel like they were trying to let us know specifically, we are here and this is what we'll do.
I got it.
That is dangerous.
I agree with you.
I mean, that's intimidation.
So I listen. I
It's been any day, but I'll give them this one.
So I agree. I agree with you, Jody. That I agree with you that that they did what they did. But here's what I'm saying. We have to. We do, right? Whether we like it or not, like that they organized and they did what they did. If we don't like it, that's not the issue. The issue is whether or not they broke the law. And when wherever they broke the law, they should be held accountable. Where they didn't, it's just a matter of they did. And I'm saying, folks, instead of just looking and saying they shouldn't do that, right? That's scary that they're organizing around wanting to overturn an election, right? A fair and free election, right? By all accounts, one that they said was the most secure election in our history, right? So I got that. So then on this side, what we should be doing is just shoring up and making certain that our elections continue to be fair and free and secure. and let them throw their tantrum over there, right? As long as they're doing it legally, right? Then they're just, that's what they're doing. But to be distracted and to try to figure out how to stop them from doing something that they're legally doing, again, if they're doing something illegal, then yes, they need to be held accountable. But if they're doing something legal, right, then they do it. There are things that we can do on this side to organize to ensure the continuation of free and fair elections and secure elections.
Yes, but when you do it to intimidate the outcome because you have lost, or because the candidate you support has lost a fair election, is that not illegal or at least immoral?
Well, so the first question, is it illegal? I would say if it were illegal, they'd all be arrested, right? So that answers that question. So now when we start talking about morality, right, then it's your judgment, my judgment, what somebody should and shouldn't do. And I'm saying we have to go by the law. And so the law says that they can gather, and here are the parameters under which they can gather. If we don't like it, then what we do is we don't try to stop them from doing something that they may be doing legally, right? We organize over here to make sure that the thing that they're trying to tear down stays erected.
Okay, Eric, is voter intimidation illegal?
But that wasn't voter intimidation.
Just answer yes or no, because we know that was
sure.
not voter intimidation.
Right, voter intimidation is illegal.
Okay, so why is it not illegal to intimidate the outcome of a vote?
Because it's not.
Because it's not. Right. Because it's not. Like, you know what I mean? And now, if you want, so here's the deal. If you want it to be illegal, I got that too. Then go organize around it, get it on a ballot, and make it illegal. Yeah. That's what I'm saying to you.
So, well, I think that right now there are enough politicians who are tired of being intimidated, where I think that bill may hit.
Well, then you know what? And I would be all for that. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be against it. So if enough people said, you know what? I really felt uncomfortable about what was going on. That should be illegal. I'm with you, right? Let's go organize around it, right? And let's make it illegal. And now once it's illegal and they go and do it, then they should be held accountable for it. But you can't simply say because you don't feel comfortable.
We hate black lives. We want our orange neck president. Yeah, lock them all up.
Look, do you think when the Ku Klux Klan was marching down the street with their hoods on, people are intimidated by that, right? But they have the right to do it.
They do.
Right. But there's intimidation there, but they have a right to do it. And you know what happens? And you see the right to do it because the police actually come out to make sure that they're safe while they're protesting.
There you go.
Right. So if
the police were actually keeping the people who wanted to get at them away from them.
Right. So right. So I'm saying.
So bullying should be illegal.
Okay. So see, Jody, you're about to get out of the car now.
I know.
See, Vincent, you have her, and then you just take this hard left, the door flies open, Jody rolls out.
Oh, Lord. Tuck and roll, Jody, tuck and roll. The car moving, baby, tuck and roll.
Oh, gosh. But listen, on to this vaccine thing, which I think, look, here, and I said this the other day, look, I don't get paid, right? I don't have an angle, right? I'm not like in cahoots with the pharma industry, or I don't have stock in any of it where if you do it, I'm going to get rich, or know people who are. I'm like everybody else, trying to follow the science, trying to, read as much as I can read. And like I said to you before, I've talked to doctors that I've trusted over decades. and not one of them has told me don't take the vaccine. Not one.
So guess what, Eric? I followed you. I mean, I heard you yesterday, and it was smart. And, you know, for the purposes of this moment, I wish people would. I don't know who you're reaching, but I wish they would, because I actually did what you told me to do. So, you know, that's my general makeup as a human being, that I'm going to research information because that's just a passion, right? And I'm going to listen even when I disagree. So it was weird. I hung up yesterday, and I was like, Jesus, Jody, you have a doctor in your midst. So I have a cousin who's a cardiac pediatrician at Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, and I called him yesterday, giving my cousin Boomer a shout out, and I just told him our conversation, and he said to me, Jody, take the vaccine. He said, if you've seen what I've seen in the last 3 months alone, you would run and stand in a line to take the vaccine. So he talked about, you know, the fact that my daughter was 13, she couldn't take the vaccine. Take it for your daughter. Protect your baby as best as you can by being a part of the solution. He talked to me about children who are being struck with a disease my son had when he was a kid. Kawasaki's disease is the disease that's actually, when a kid is tested positive for COVID, that they actually are dying of Kawasaki's disease. And they were talking about that a while ago. Anyway, in short, he talked to me about, you know, he went through the history of it. He said, but I am a doctor. He's been a doctor, 20-some-odd years, he said, and I'm not going to tell you anything that's going to hurt you. As soon as you can, take the vaccine. Tell your friends and family to take the vaccine. He even spoke of the fact that the companies, forget politics, he said to me, forget what you see on television. He said, but companies like Pfizer is not going to release something that could catapult them into anything. They've been doing this for a long time. He says, so you may not be able to trust your local politicians, and you may not be able to trust your federal government. He said, but you have to follow the science. You have to follow medicine. He said, and just take the damn vaccine. He made me promise.
Yeah. You know what, Jody? Seriously, and
I was like, wow, that's cool that Eric just gives me at least that piece of information that, hey, if you don't trust me, Eric Dawson, I have my circle of doctors and medical people do the same. And I did it, and it was, I appreciate that from you.
You know, Allahu Akbar.
Julie, I got almost the exact same response yesterday when I talked to my doctor.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking people, like, you all have doctors. So in the thread that I put up, and I got all these people who are, still posting, smallpox stuff or Tuskegee experiment stuff, right? Eugenics stuff. They're posting all of this, right? And I'm saying, so if you have children, you have pediatrician, call them, right? You have a primary, call your doctor, right? And so if you don't trust your doctor, why do you have your doctor, right? So call your doctor. See, but this is just like the most, and then be courageous enough. See, because you have bullies out here, right, who are bullying people to not be honest about what they really find out, right? So people find out the truth through their circle of trust, and then they keep it to themselves. We can't do that. We have to go and shout it from the rooftops that you heard this information, right? The same way we go and shout from the rooftops misinformation, right? We have to combat that misinformation with factual data. Look, Here's the thing, and Jody, you know, your cousin, 100% right. Look, there are people who saying, I'm not gonna take it, right? Because you're thinking about you, right? But you taking it takes you off the list of people who can infect other people. You see, see, and so because you are so self-centered, right? So effing selfish, right? You're thinking about you and what you're not gonna do. But you have no idea. If you understand the science, and Vincent and I talked about this offline. So let's start here. There are people right now who are walking around with COVID-19 and they don't know it.
That's right.
Right? So the first thing science says is this: act like you have it. Because now if you act like you have it, you'll proceed with caution. If you behave like you don't have it, you'll be reckless. So now act like you have it, so you're proceeding cautiously. Now, second thing they say is that you could be asymptomatic for this period of time. So everywhere you go, you could be infecting people. Everywhere.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So if you start thinking like that, now you say, well, okay, how do I prevent myself from infecting other people in the event that I have it? Here we go. Now, see, and so when I look personally, when I look and hear the number of people who are dying, over 3,000 a day, we're all interconnected. So you don't know at the end of a day what you touched. You can't give a full accounting of what you touched, who you came in contact with, every single person, and then who they all came in contact with and what they touched, and then who they came in contact. And so that thing spreads out quickly. So you don't know, if I ask you whether you are personally responsible for the death of one of the 3,000 plus people who will die today. You don't know. And it's your arrogance, your hubris.
If you want to add to that number, the one of the persons who will be infected every 32 seconds.
Come on, people.
Every 32 seconds, someone is infected with this virus.
So we have to be, and so this idea of, well, you know, like I saw comments, well, you know, why would you take a vaccine when there's a 99% recovery rate from it? Listen. So with the 99% recovery rate, 3,000 people are dying a day. Right? With the 99% recovery rate, we have almost 300,000 people dead already. Right? So when we give the percentage, right, the people who give the percentage don't want to focus on the actual number and don't want to focus on the pain that these individual families have suffered. They're not a percentage, they're people. I mean, come on. But you know what? The thing that this is showing me, Jody, is how selfish we are as human beings. How absolutely selfish we are as human beings. Because some of these people would rather go, and like if you go look at my thread, you'll see people cherry picking content and putting it up there to support their narrative. Because they have to be right. They're not focused on doing the right thing. They're focused on being right. And see, and that's arrogance and selfishness.
I look at some of the things that people have put up there, and they're all spewing that same BS from the anti-vaccine group. And here's the thing. Majority of the stuff that they're putting up there that's supposed to be their supporting argument is incorrect.
Yes, it is. It is. And listen, I'm telling you, like I said yesterday, don't listen to me. Call your doctor. Call your doctor. And so now you have to conclude, right, that all of the doctors are in cahoots. I want you to understand what you got to conclude. That all of them are in cahoots. So somehow they're all, they've all been talked to in some secret room somewhere. And they've all been told to come out and say this. I mean, I want you to understand that.
Yeah, they all were on that one big massive Zoom
Yeah,
call.
all the doctors at NYU, all the doctors at Stanford, the ones at Howard, the ones at and somebody posted in my thread, they said that when they posted eugenics, they said, we have to learn from our history. And I said, you know what? Learning from our history means what? Greater transparency, more regulations, right, more black doctors involved in the process. All of these things have happened. See, but you want to ignore all of that. But the history of what has occurred in the past, if we look at where we are now, it is because of all of that. And so I'm telling you, when I sit, and I know her personally, when I sit and watch Dr. Chris Purnell, right? Like, you're telling me that I gotta try to figure out that this person literally, like, is somehow tied into this whole conspiracy of eugenics and all this other. This bright woman is tied into all of that. And I'm going, wait a minute. Like, and what kills me is when we did the show, and this is for the people who are in my thread because they pay attention, right? We did the show from UMDNJ. Not one of you called in because you didn't want to hear the truth. Not one of you. The CEO, president of the hospital, implored you to call in. Said he would answer any question you had. But you refused to call in because you want to be right.
I think they want to be right in their own mind, but wrong in terms of what they're actually saying.
Now,
and here's one point, Eric. See, with all these conspiracy theorists, you have to take one thing into account. Conspiracy is illegal. Yet, with them talking about all the conspiracies that's going on, none of them, not one of them, have ever stepped forth in a court of law with proof of their conspiracy theory. Not one. When have you heard that, of the people in Europe that have, because here's a big conspiracy now they are injecting nanos in you, and you are now being part of the 5G network, becoming an antenna for it, which is used to up and raise the market of the, what's that new coin, cryptocurrency, which is primarily owned by Bill Gates. There is so much confusion and enigma wrapped in a mystery with the conspiracy theories that none of it truly makes sense. Yet people take it as the gospel of modern medicine. And yeah, we have learned from our experience, especially the Tuskegee experiment. Why do you think there are so many lawyers lined up right now for medical malpractice? And Pfizer is a $400 billion corporation? In terms of their shareholders, who wouldn't be willing to sue them if they're doing all of this stuff that these conspiracy theorists say that they're doing? We gotta stop listening to this maximum sophisticated confusion and start exercising some God-given common sense.
Yeah.
None of this stuff makes sense. None of it. There's a woman right now who's an OBGYN who's gotten close to 100,000 views on YouTube talking about, the conspiracy of the vaccine. I mean, really, and she's a doctor. So you have to look at what's motivating this conspiracy. And why are they looking at targeting, and a majority of this is targeting black people? Why are they looking to do that?
Yeah. So, it's scary for me to see what's happening, but I gotta tell you, I watched Mayor Baraka's town hall yesterday, right?
Niagara Falls.
And he had his doctor on from the city, and then he had somebody else on, his health guy on from the city, and somebody else on, right? And I don't agree with him on most things, right? But on this thing, I do agree with him. But here's the problem, right? Because when they're talking about this vaccine being successful, they're not talking about the efficacy of the vaccine itself. They're talking about the number of people who wind up taking it, whether or not they can be convinced to take it. Because if not, then the overall effort won't be a success, right? The idea is to have enough people inoculated that you can start to drive down the vaccine's ability, the virus's ability to find a new host. That is the goal. That's what they're working on. But they're counting on local governments, and they're counting on influencers within local communities to be able to convince people to take this. But here lies the problem now. They're all liars. Right? They're all liars. And so because they've lied before about a bunch of things, and let's take Newark in particular now, because they lied about the water, right? And wouldn't come truthful about it. Now you want this mayor, right? The one that I spent months like showing you point by point where he wasn't telling the truth. So now even Eric says, well, okay, I want you to listen to that guy now. It's hard, right? It's hard because I can point out not only in the water incident, but in other incidents where he lied. And so now the person would say, well, Eric, why are you with Raz now? And they'd be, I couldn't blame them for saying that. And the answer is, I'm not with him. I'm with the science always, right? It just happens, like I said, a broken clock is right twice a day. And so in this instance, he's right. But is he still the guy about the water and about all these other issues? Yeah. But trying to parse that with people who are being bombarded with misinformation, it becomes difficult, right? And then the misinformation whores out there, they thrive on the fact that there's confusion out there, right? So they just throw in a little bit more confusion, and then people scatter, and then folks like your cousin Jody, who's trying to cut through it and tell people, hey, listen, if you saw what I saw, you would do this. The noise is so loud by the conspiracy theorists, right? And that's their only job now. They got a job. They just want to throw the kitchen sink at it now. Just throw it. Just keep it going. Keep it going. Because as long as you keep it going, right? You keep people distracted. You keep a conversation. People don't get focused on the real issue, which is that folks are dying at an alarming rate. The disease is highly contagious.
People are contracting it disproportionately, Black and Hispanic.
Right. And at the end of the day, right? So we talk about all of that. It's screwing up the economy, right? It's leaving people homeless, right? It's leaving people jobless. It's leaving people hungry. It's doing all of those things. And it is beginning to have a profound impact on the infrastructure of our healthcare system. The hospitals. That's all happening. Yeah. That's all happening. Hey, D, welcome.
Yeah. These people are on your thread. They're probably listening to this show, and not one of them has the balls to call in. I'll figure that.
Yeah.
Well,
So I just and then for me, I mean, God, we know, we know as black people, we gonna get the shitty end of this stick.
Absolutely.
Right? We know when we get sick, we don't have the same health care. Right? We don't have the same, we just don't. We don't have the same job security when we get sick to be able to take off and to do whatever. We don't have those things.
Nor do we get the same attention to detail from the medical profession.
And so we should be doing everything we can not to have this virus ravage our community. Everything we can.
No, what we do is we fall victim to the conspiracy theories and we become super spreaders. We spread it to our children, who spread it to other children, who spread it to their parents. That's why we're going at such an alarming rate. We don't have proper medical insurance, and we don't like going to those county and community hospitals where all the other black people go to. So we wait till the last minute to actually get help. Too late.
Another one of brothers that I knew, very good friend of my brother, but I knew Dennis. A lot of people knew him as Ice. He was the owner of the Tremont Lounge. Died from complications to COVID last week. Enough. I say
from my church husband. I mean, beautiful man in all aspects of the way. I mean, gentle, kind, willing to help. I mean, strong character. I mean, he would be prescribed as like a man's man if you actually defined him. Yet he and his wife both contracted COVID. His wife just got off the ventilator Saturday, and he died Saturday.
Well,
yeah. I mean, it's horrible. In fact, his wife, when she was at church, we were talking. She was like getting livid when she got out of the hospital, and people were walking around her without a mask.
Yeah, and you know what? I almost got. I'm not going to mention the restaurant that I was at or the store that I was in, but I think it was Saturday. I stopped in a store, and they had a sign on the door that said 4 people, right? And they're one of my clients, so I went to go, collect some money. But then while I was in there, I was going to patronize their business. And I turned around, and in that little space where there's supposed to be 4 people, there were like 11 or 12 people.
Oh,
right?
God.
So I first look at the lady behind the register, like, what's going on? And then she didn't respond to them. And so I turned around, and it shouldn't have been on me to do it, right? But I turned around, I said, hey, some of you all have to get up out of here. I said, this is crazy, right? And so they looked at me sideways, and I said, wait a minute, so you all are in here with masks on, which say that you know about this thing called COVID-19. That's why you got a mask on, right? And you walked through a door that had a big sign on it that said 4 people allowed, and I'm pretty sure that most of you guys can count, right? So you realize that there are more than 4 people in here. So then in the beginning, most of them left, right? So then there were like 3 of us in there. And then 2 more people came in. One person came in to make 4. And then another guy came in. And then so he challenged me and said, well, you don't work here. I said, no, I don't work here. He said, mind your business. I said, I am. I'm minding my life.
Here you go.
Right? And I'm gonna tell this whole story, and then I'm really vacillating about whether to mention the name of the business, but so in the end, the guy actually physically challenged me, right? So I should have thought better, but I didn't, because like they say, Jody, I'm born and raised in Newark, right? So I'm like, all right, I'll be out on the sidewalk. so, so, so I go and I wait on the sidewalk. So he comes out, but at this point I have my mask off because I'm by myself on the sidewalk and I'm on a phone. So he walks out, and so he said, I know who you are. You're that guy who runs your mouth on the internet.
Celebrity.
So now I said, I'm at a disadvantage because I still don't know you, right? So I said, so there's something that we need to discuss. So he said, man, I got my sandwich. I'm going on my way. I said, but, I thought you wanted to have a conversation, a broader conversation with me. And then I just tried to explain to him afterwards, how dangerous it was for all of us, for those people to come in there. Then I went back in and I told the owner of the establishment, I said, see, because 2 weeks ago I had a conversation with him and he was complaining about the fact that the mayor was shutting down all of the businesses, right? And that the governor was going to be coming in like the Gestapo, his words, and shutting down businesses. And so when I went back in, I said, so had they come in, had code enforcement walked through this door when there were 12 people in here, they most certainly would have shut you down. And so where you have an opportunity to protect your business and to protect your patrons, you going for the short dollar to sell another item. See, and so the sympathy, I got to be, and like I talked about my friend who owns Cuban Pete's. See, you can't be a part of, super spreader events and then cry foul when they shut you down. So he would say to me, if I asked him, so should I have called, Newark code enforcement and told them instead, like walked out and then called the code enforcement? See, because I don't know those other people who were in there. And like I said before, I don't know if they'll come in contact with one of my family members or one of my friends. See, but that's how I have to look at it. So it's more than just that event. It's when you leave there, what do you do? Who do you come in contact with? You become you said it earlier, Vincent, a menace to society.
And that's what they become. Yet, because of their selfish desires, they don't even see the impact that they have in society or the impact that they bring back to their own homes. Now, it's all hunky-dory and fine because the majority of them could be spreaders and are asymptomatic. Yet, when it hits home and it becomes real, do their attitudes change?
So,
as Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan everybody's got a fight plan until they get punched in the face. Well, let's see how they react and how they feel when this virus punches them in the face. Let's look at not only because you're asymptomatic and maybe you maybe in that category, but let's say you spread it to your mother, aunt, grandmother, somebody that you really love, and now they cease to exist because of your jackassery and your selfishness. God, people, why do we become so God-blessed selfish that we don't want to take care of or look after another person? When do we sit back and say, I'm not my brother's keeper as long as I'm asymptomatic or as long as I get what I want? When do we actually consider some freaking body else besides ourselves and our own selfish desire? I'm so tired of this, Eric. Tired of this disease. I'm tired of people with their attitude towards this disease. I'm tired of people being cavalier, nonchalant about this. I'm tired of going in these places and I got to remind people of 6 feet, please.
So it's really funny, right? Somebody in my thread where I posted that, so again, the post I put up, it said, and the woman's name is Sandra Lindsay. I said, Sandra Lindsay was one of the first to take the vaccine because the greatest amount of distrust is in the Black community. She has set a wonderful example, and I pray that Black Americans are paying attention. right? So, I mean, it immediately drew responses from all kinds of people. But this one person, she says, not every medication or vaccine is a part of a conspiracy. If they really wanted to kill us, they would add something to the fried chicken. see, so I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, and then the person comes in and has a response, which makes no sense. Um, um, and then I'm just trying to find a couple more. Oh, this person says facts. When is this so here's facts. When has this government ever done anything to help black people? And how many times are we going to pony up to be the guinea pigs? They're calling us stupid to our faces by parading props in front of us in an effort to persuade the gullible. And I don't, I guess, don't give two F's whether Obama takes it. We can never be sure we are getting the dose he gets. We can never rely on this country to ever have our best interests at heart. No way am I taking this shit. You all are fools. Now, what
I know who that person is.
Oh, you know.
In the language alone. But I'm not going to give that BS some oxygen or life. I'm going to let it die by simply saying this. That person does more of a disservice to Black America than just about any man I know.
No, this is a woman. This is
a drug dealer.
This is a woman who posted this.
Well,
yeah, but look, the fact this country hates Black Americans. How do we know that? By all the legislation that still exists on the books, right? So I can say that, right? I can say that. I see that is a fact, and so when she asked the question, what has this country ever done? And I gave her an answer. What has this country ever done for Black people? My response is, hey, Karen, I said, the government hasn't done anything to specifically help Black people. That's true. I agree with you. I said, but the government has done things to further the advancement of the general population. To that end, no good purpose is served by having millions of potentially infected Black people roaming around infecting everyone else. Fact. So,
and you know what? It's so unfair to say. I mean, because we're not doing it. Sorry, right?
There you go.
The mayor has his meeting that you just talked about, and I saw Nork on TV this morning. So I saw they were about to give the health care workers at University Hospital the vaccine, and they were trying to make it, and they were talking about the complications in North and how the people are not very trusting of both local and federal government.
Mm-hmm.
They're going through it, right? But I saw a video last week where the mayor gave an event to raise money.
Right.
Nobody had on masks. And they were in the East Ward where the numbers are supposed to be the highest. See, and I had an incident this weekend where, and I have to be cautious, I know, but where a co-worker exposed an office where we've gone down from this large amount of people to 6 of us in the office. We all know each other's situations in the sense of I'm fighting to keep my nephew's wife, who's very compromised and wouldn't make it through it safe, and my boss dad has MS, and this one has this, and a coworker, a Black female coworker, young, dumb, and stupid, put herself in a predicament that compromised us all. So before we start talking about what the white man is not going to do for us, how about we just take care of each other for a minute? How about we just chill out with all of the conspiracy theories and think about what we do to one another? The mayor cannot expect people to follow him, and he doesn't follow the rules himself.
No, you're
It
right.
just doesn't make sense.
You're right.
You can't say, hey, I'll shut down your business if you got 10 people in it, but I'm going to give a party down in the East Ward from a campaign, and I'm going to have 100 people at 100 a pop, and I ain't going to have on a mask. And like, no one, who's going to follow you,
No,
and who should?
You're absolutely right. Which is what adds to this, Jody. Which is what adds to this, because we know that they're, like I said, we know that they're all liars, right? We all know that. And so here they say, you know what? I've lied. I've done all these, but now I'm telling the truth. It makes it hard. You've made it hard on yourselves to convince people because of the lies. You know, my dad used to tell me, he said, son, ever lie. He said, because once you lie, I can't believe you. Right? Because I could always refer back and say you lied in that instance. See, but so you lied. So now you want me to believe you, is what people are saying, and it makes it difficult.
That's legally called the fruit of the poisonous tree. So if you know that the tree is poisonous, then you know that the fruit is as well. So then that's the big problem that all of them are now facing. They no longer have credibility because of their hypocrisy. You cannot lie about one particular thing, but yet expect people to believe the honest truth about another, even if that honest truth and you're trying to save their lives, because your credibility is shot and people will no longer believe you. Man, that's another thing that we have to change and have to work on. But that's a whole different show, and I think you're almost out of time.
Yeah. Well, the saying is, and I had to look it up again. The Latin saying for this is falsus in uno, falsus in omnibus. Right? Which means false in one thing, false in everything.
Yes.
See, false in one thing, false in, and so that's kind of where we are now, right? Falsus in uno, falsus in omnibus. And so we've got a group of people who say, you lied about this, lying about that. We just have to keep, so where they say hold the line, and I hate to repeat anything that they say, because I don't want you to think I'm on their team, because I'm not. But
well, in media they say trust but verify.
Yeah.
Because you are to give out the right information. You're trusting the sources, but you're also verifying what they're saying.
Well, but Vincent, here they don't trust the source. See, so there lies the issue, right? So we haven't even gotten to the trust part, right? So there's a source that's giving the information, and I agree with you that on some level, right? But that's why I've asked, I've pleaded with people, find a circle of doctors or people somewhat expert in this, right? Not videos, because when you go searching for videos, we all search for videos that suit our own interests, right? So don't do that. But just go, just knock on just drive past and knock on a physician's door somewhere. Like you see it says MD, right? Just put your mask on, knock on the door. Like, so it's a random person. And just say, hey, what do you think about the COVID vaccine? Because now this random person who's a doctor is going to answer you. And you're going to have to decide whether or not they're part of this large conspiracy theory or not. Because I'm betting that probably 9 times out of 10, you go knock on the doctor's door, they're going to tell you to take the vaccine. And you're going to have to decide whether or not whether they've been like plugged into this matrix, and they're all against you. And then at some point it just starts to mount up, and my hope is that it would, be overwhelming, to say, wow, I knocked on 30 doors, doctors I didn't know, black, white, Indian, Asian. And out of the 30 of them said, take the vaccine. See, do that. Is your life worth it? Your family member's life worth it? Your friends' lives worth it? For you to just take that little bit of time. So, anyway, I'm pleading because we need it. We need it, and we need an intervention, guys. Because it's gonna get bad, and they're saying, right, because the general vaccine's not gonna come until April or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Well, Eric, some people need an intervention. Some people just need an enema.
Yeah, but maybe that too. Maybe that too. But listen, man. I think that's that was really what I want to spend time talking about today. Just I can't change.
Eric,
Yep.
here's a suggestion for you. The next time these anti-vaccinists and all these conspiracy people get on your post, why don't you just tell them to, get off your thread, get off your post, don't get vaccinated, don't wear a mask, and die?
Well, because, I thought about blocking some of them, right? Especially like the ones who you see, they post the same thing, like, they go and troll and they post the same article everywhere, right? I thought about blocking them, and I may. But for those who are interested in having some back and forth, I try to stay with them a little bit, Vincent, because the reality is they're not going to just quarantine themselves and die, right? They're going to be reckless. They're going to go out without their masks. They're going to not wash their hands. They're not going to sanitize. They're going to be in crowded places. And then they're going to take all of those very dangerous habits and impose them on the rest of society. And my loved ones are at risk. And so for me, it is worth it to spend time trying to persuade them. I am so grateful that Jody called her cousin and spoke to her cousin. I literally was almost in tears when she was telling me. Because I can tell you, like, I just, like my doctor who I credit for helping save my life at Sloan Kettering. I talked to Dr. Koo, asked him, what do you think, man? He said, take the vaccine. Right? So I'm going, okay, I got to believe that he's a part of that conspiracy. And then all of the other people in Sloan that I've spoken to say, take it. I got to believe that they're all a part of it. I told you I spoke to my daughter Lucy, right, who is in a network of folks who, have gone through medical school, who are doctors, and she's now on that path. And people that she's talked to, I got to conclude that they're all part of the conspiracy, right? My primary, I got to conclude that she's part of the conspiracy. My sister, Kim, who is a nurse, right? I got to conclude that she's part of the conspiracy. My cousin's wife, Donna, who's a nurse, I got to conclude she's part of the conspiracy. So would you understand all of the people that I got to look at and go, yo, these are all people part of this grand conspiracy.
They're all in on it.
They're all in on it. And I can keep going.
So what profit do these conspiracy people that's all in on this vaccine conspiracy and getting everybody to take it, what profit do they get? I don't understand. If
Well,
they're all in on it, they have to be in on it for something, right?
Well, you know what? Well, I can tell you. So you've got organizations out there who raise money, right? So what is it? Whatever the Kennedy guy is, right? Who's out there traveling the country, stoking fear in people, rallying up these anti-vaxxers. He makes money.
Hannity.
Right. They make money. You know.
Yeah.
They make money.
Yeah.
So there's money to be made, but the money only goes to the top. All the other people are just being used, right, to create enough confusion to make those people relevant. And then those people who become relevant because of the maximum sophisticated confusion, they are the ones who are getting the money. The other people, they're just out there reposting, retweeting, what has been said. But when you look at the things that they repost and retweet, see, so the scammer is scamming you guys. Because when you look at those videos, yep, they got 100,000 views, right? But they got 100,000 views because you're sharing it.
Yeah. If I want to reach a level of popularity, I want to be popular because I'm right.
Yeah.
I want to be popular because I'm standing a firm conviction on helping improve the quality of life of black people and possibly society in general.
Yeah.
I do not want to be popular, or as they say, infamous. I don't want popularity because of negativity.
Yeah.
Or the destruction of human beings. Because, and this is my theologian hat.
Watch your time.
I believe that God will talk with you and deal with you on certain issues.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys, we're out of time for this show. I'm off tomorrow. We'll be resting. We'll be back on Thursday. And, we'll report the news, try to bring the facts, try to buttress the conspiracy theories. Tune in.
Let's put this conspiracy theory to rest. Let's give it a proper funeral, and let's give it a wonderful trial, a swift execution, and a proper burial.
Until then, guys, continue to wear your masks. Continue to keep distance, more than 6 feet apart. I say, stay out of crowded places. Wash your hands, and use sanitizer. Stay safe.
Yeah.